Vancouver Mayor Ken Sim running for re-election this fall, trying to make a splash in the campaign. Literally, the mayor promising free swimming lessons for kids. Vancouver Mayor Ken Sim says every child should have access to free swimming lessons. Who's going to pay for this? Is this a realistic promise from the mayor? Will this get him a lot of votes in the fall? I've got Kareem Alam standing by to discuss, the guy running against him. First, have a listen to some of these Vancouver residents. They like this idea. Sure, free swimming lessons for my kids. Bring it on. Have a listen.
I would be really on board. Yeah, definitely. It's hard to get swimming lessons in Vancouver.
Well, I think it's a great idea. And then plus in this age, if you have to pay for everything and then price increasing, something to, get for a child, for future, I think it makes sense.
I think it's a phenomenal initiative to push forward. We do see that especially with the group of new Canadians, we actually see that they're 4 times more likely to drown than their Canadian resident neighbors.
Okay, the voice you heard at the end there is Kamiko Hirikita from the Life-Saving Society of BC, a past guest on the show here. And saying this is great. Yeah, free swimming lessons for kids. This is great. Let's discuss it with my guest now. Kareem Alam running to be the mayor of Vancouver against Ken Sim. Kareem is with the Liberals of Vancouver. Kareem, thanks a lot for coming on today.
Thanks for having me on.
Okay, Kareem, what do you think of this now? Free swimming lessons for the kids. What do you say to this?
Ken Sim is great at making promises and is terrible at delivering on them. He campaigned the last election on 100 new police officers, and he's hired a net new 8. He campaigned on 100 new nurses and has hired a net new 8, even despite the fact that he owns a nurse recruiting company. He ran on fiscal accountability and has raised property taxes by more than any other mayor in the city of Vancouver. He promised to fix the Stanley Park train, and it's still not working. And he just replaced a 50-meter pool at the Aquatic Center with a 25-meter pool. Frankly, it's really, really hard to take Ken Sim at his word when he makes promises like this. The fundamental issue that we've got is that the city of Vancouver hasn't built a new swimming pool in the time that the population of the city has doubled. I recently spoke to a parent who told me it's easier to get Taylor Swift tickets than it is to get their kids into paid swimming lessons in the city of Vancouver because of the lack of pools we have.
Okay, how are we going to pay for these free swimming lessons here? I'm really interested in your thoughts on that. If Sam gets reelected, tries to deliver this. Let's have a listen to the park board chair. This is Tom Digby talking about these free swimming lessons here and how you pay for it. Let's listen.
There's a lot of free things we'd like to provide. Unfortunately, we were facing severe budget cutbacks this year. We're looking at $11 million in cuts.
Your thoughts?
Ken, zero means zero. Budget means that there's no extra money floating around the system to deliver these free swimming lessons. On the first day that Gregor Robertson got elected as mayor of Vancouver about 15 years ago, the park board budget was 16.5% of the overall city budget, and today it's 7.9%. We've had consecutive governments in the city of Vancouver defunding our parks, and when you defund our parks, you limit our ability to deliver programs like this. So I would like to acknowledge and agree with my colleague on the opposite side of the political aisle, Tom Digby, that in these challenging times where Ken is cutting budgets at the park board, it's going to be really hard to deliver on this promise.
Okay, so just so I'm clear on this, Kareem, so Ken Sim saying free swimming lessons for kids, you're saying that you're opposed to that? What's your position on the actual promise?
I support it. I just don't know how we're going to deliver on it with the lack of swimming pools that we have. The first step that we need to take is to build more swimming pools. And frankly, even with paid swimming lessons where parents are paying for them, there isn't enough room for the paid parents. There are 50,000 kids in the city of Vancouver from kindergarten to grade 12. And there isn't enough space in the current pool system that we have in Vancouver to accommodate all of them. And at the same time this is happening, Ken Sim made the decision to take a 50-meter pool and turn it into a 25-meter pool. So we're actually seeing a decrease in capacity. We're seeing that the kids' pool is at end of life. It's got 2 years left on it, and there's no cogent plan to replace it.
Kareem Alam is my guest, running to be the mayor of Vancouver. Let's have a listen to Ken Sim on another topic here. I'm really interested in your thoughts on this. His viral comments about AI. Speaking of AI, artificial intelligence, of course, we got those big AI data centers that have now been promised for Vancouver. Ken Sim says he's all in on AI and these big data centers in our city. And then he said this at the AI data center announcement about how he uses AI to get his work done. Let's listen.
I'm running a bunch of AI. I have 11 AI agents running right now, doing all my a lot of my work in the background.
Okay, he's running 11 AI agents to get a lot of his work done in the background. He's since put out a statement saying this is for just his personal stuff. He's not using AI to run City Hall or run the mayor's office. This is just personal stuff, I guess, setting up his gym schedule, I guess. Kareem, what do you think of that?
You wouldn't need 11 AI agents to run your gym schedule and manage your diet. I was really concerned when he first made those comments about using 11 AI agents to do his work. For those of your listeners that are familiar with AI, there are no AI data centers. There's very few AI data centers here in Canada. So that means all that data is running across Chinese servers, U.S. servers, and European servers, and that contradicts and breaks our FIPA and PIPA provincial laws, but also breaks our federal privacy protection laws. We need the Auditor General in the City of Vancouver to investigate whether there were data breaches here at the City of Vancouver and whether the personal data of Vancouverites and British Columbians were compromised by Ken Sim's use of AI.
Okay, even though he says that he just used this strictly in a personal capacity and this is all misinformation you're spreading.
I don't know if I'm to believe Ken Sim on his first day of comments or if I'm supposed to believe the second day of his comments, but it's a serious enough issue that it warrants an investigation.
Speaking of Kareem Alam running for be the mayor of Vancouver against Ken Sim, where do you stand on those AI data centers that has been promised by TELUS and the federal government here in Vancouver? Do you support them?
It's absolutely critical for Canadians to have AI data centers here within our sovereign borders. This is an issue of Canadian sovereignty. This is an issue related to defense. This is an issue that keeps our businesses competitive. Canada should not, as a country, be reliant on data centers across our borders. We should be building our own.
Let me ask you, Kareem, about the state of the campaign for mayor here. We got the election coming up in the fall. Where do you see the campaign right now? What are your top priorities for the city? What's your main message to the voters?
I want to bring young people back to the city of Vancouver. Vancouver is now one of the oldest cities in North America by average age. You'd have to get to Florida to find an older city. Young people are leaving the city in droves because of three things. We're not creating the jobs for them. We're not building affordable housing for them. And we're also defunding the frontline services that allow them to grow happy and prosperous families here in Vancouver. Kids in Vancouver don't play sports tournaments in Vancouver anymore. They go to Softball City in Surrey. They go to Burnaby 8 rinks in Burnaby. We have defunded our parks. We have defunded our community centers. We're seeing shrinking library hours and getting those core services, not just delivered well, but delivered at an exceptional level. That's the Vancouver I grew up in, and I think the next generation of Vancouver kids deserves to live and grow up in the city that I grew up in.
Oh, okay, so you would increase spending then, correct?
I would increase the capital spending, yes, and I think Vancouver has a lot of tools. One of them is our ability uniquely in the Vancouver Charter to issue bonds. If I can issue a bond that triggers $1 million a year in interest payments, but it saves me $1.5 million in operating costs, that's a good bond to issue. We know new swimming pools are cheaper to operate than old swimming pools. We know when we build an ice sheet right next to a swimming pool, we get free heat energy from that ice sheet to heat that swimming pool. So if we build smarter, build faster, build cheaper, and innovate with those tools that we're allowed to innovate with in the Vancouver Charter, I think we can rapidly expand those services without increasing the tax burden.
Oh, okay, because I thought you said you were going to raise taxes. Because Ken Sim had said he's going to freeze taxes. Let's just go back quickly to what Ken Sim said about his tax freeze here. He said that he's delivered a 0% tax increase, tax freeze.
It focuses on frontline services, strengthens our fiscal foundation, and gives our team members the clarity they need to run an efficient and responsive government. And most importantly, it provides relief to the hundreds of thousands of Vancouverites who have been impacted by the ongoing affordability crisis.
Okay, that Ken Sim defending his tax freeze. So you're saying that, you would freeze taxes too?
I would not freeze taxes. I would target tax increases at a rate of inflation. Ken Sim is talking out of both sides of his mouth when he says the property taxes have been frozen. He's increased parking fees throughout the city. He's increased utility fees throughout the city. So while your property tax part of your bill is at zero this year, your utility bills are increasing by 11%. Permit fees for food trucks in the city of Vancouver are going up by 2,500% this year. This isn't a tax cut. This is a tax shift. Everyone in Vancouver needs to understand that the current internal inflation rate of the city of Vancouver is 11%. And every year we're not raising property taxes by that much means that we're cutting services by that much. Okay. Ken Sim was supposed to be the financial ninja to get our fiscal house in order, and he's made everything worse.
Kareem LM, thanks a lot for coming on to talk about it today.
Thank you so much, Mike. Enjoyed having
you bet, man.
Enjoyed having on. Thanks. Take care.
Thanks.